And we just sort of like, begged her to hire us both as a, she didn't have anybody attached to the movie, and now she would have two, like lucky her. And she fell for it, which is incredible.
Was that a tell there, Kim? She fell for it.
I kind of had this feeling after I watched this clip, similar to after we watched the Forbes interview, that it's just like, she says things, and it's like, I don't think she understands the way she sounds when she says them.
Forbes interview that came out that she said that she needs that authorship to feel fulfilled, but the whole movie just was it really does seem like it was just a big...
Did you hear the rumors? Blake Lively has allegedly been pulling strings behind the scenes to undercut her co-stars for years. A stunning insider leak from the It Ends With Us set paints a picture of a star who allegedly steered the production to serve her own interests. Hey, but that's only scratching the surface. Over the next 10 minutes, you'll discover how Blake and husband, Ryan Reynolds, are said to have strategically used their kids as part of a carefully staged PR narrative while covertly working to edge out even legends like Meryl Streep and the leaked texts.
Follow-up story, one more we got. Here's Blake Lively seemingly SHing Amy Schumer. She cannot stop touching her. Girl, for someone who's all about stop with the hugs on set, we finally don't have to be hugged. Oh, no more hugs. They won't touch you. Look how much Blake is touching her. Unprovoked. It's like Drew Barrymore. Like, girl, enough. Even Amy's like kind of like, okay, yeah, thanks. And then let me rub your arms. Let me touch your neck. Let me do it, because but women on women, that's okay. Blake, stop touching her. It's insane how much he's touching her. And now in reading the new complaint and seeing this clip, girl, stop touching her. Look at that. It's loops. It's like, enough with the patting everywhere and rubbing. That's literally what you're accusing him of doing. But you can do it here because you're friends? Maybe Justin thought you were friends. I don't know what's going on. I need more information. But all I know is, apparently, what was said, according to a lip reader here, we got a little bit of insight here, Amy Schumer comforted Blake. Comedian and Gossip Girl shared a warm, lengthy hug. And lip reader Nicola Hickling broke down the exchange in Daily Mail. I need this hug so much, Lively allegedly told Schumer before glancing over her husband.
They've long been hailed as the golden couple of Hollywood and envy-inducing marriage. Adorable kids, thriving careers, and that infectious chemistry that lights up every red carpet. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have spent years crafting the image of the ultimate power duo: funny, grounded, effortlessly charming. Their witty online exchanges, coordinated fashion looks, and those so-candid family snapshots have captivated fans everywhere. But what if that polished image wasn't as authentic as it seems? What if it's the carefully maintained product of a relentless PR strategy? According to multiple former employees, the Lively Reynolds persona is anything but accidental.
Ow.
None of it's spontaneous, a former household employee reveals. Every family walk, every red carpet, even their casual selfies there, mapped out in advance to support this fairy tale image. While the public sees wholesome fun, behind the curtain, it's all meticulously choreographed. Text messages from a past assistant point to Blake's intense focus on preserving her relevance. In Hollywood, she made me track everything about Meryl Streep press mentions. Upcoming roles, even awards chatter, the assistant claims. Blake allegedly became anxious whenever Meryl gained media praise or booked major roles. This wasn't just casual jealousy. Blake is said to have kept detailed notes on actresses she viewed as threats. She had this color-coded ranking system, shared a former stylist. Actresses were sorted by talent, influence, and casting overlap. Meryl reportedly topped the list, but sources say Blake tracked several women close to her age range. Even more unsettling are claims that the couple deliberately leverages their children to deflect controversy. Whenever a negative headline hit, be it a box office bomb, an on-set incident, or a reputation scandal, suddenly the family was seen out and about smiling for the cameras. It was all arranged, says a former security staffer. We were briefed on where to position them, how long to stay out. It wasn't organic, it was calculated. A publicist who once worked with the pair corroborates this tactic, calling it the Shield Protocol, a preset PR tactic that involves rolling out curated family moments to distract from trouble. It worked like magic, the publicist says. One sweet quote about parenting or a stroll with the kids, and boom, no one cared about the backlash anymore. It wasn't just about timing. His appearances were executed with precision. There were literal handbooks, recalls a former nanny. Blake's posture, which side to stand on, how to style the kids for maximum relatability without looking staged. Even her casual outfits were run by PR. This growing contrast between Blake's media persona and her alleged, off-camera persona is starting to raise eyebrows within industry circles. The image she presents isn't who she is day to day, said one assistant from a recent film set. She's hyper-aware of status. It's a constant calculation of where she stands next to other actresses, what fans see as charisma. Those close to the situation now label as manipulation, fueling doubts about whether Hollywood's most beloved couple is truly as real as they want us to believe.
To identify as a pretty ambitious person, but I work incredibly hard at everything that I do. And because of that, whenever I have joined a job, if I've gotten a new position in employment, I tend to, expand my job responsibilities because I prove myself over time that I am capable of taking that on, and I become a trusted part of the team, and I can be one of the first people to get there and one of the last people to leave, and I'm a workaholic to my detriment. But that is something that over time you earn with a team. To me, it is extremely unprofessional to walk in when you're given a position and your job is to do that position, and then as you complete that, then potentially more responsibility is given to you. Or you can then voice like, hey, I'd like to try this. And it goes on and it's organic, but you have to work with the team. Every workplace is a team. And what it sounds like is that she's not interested in being a part of a team. She just wants to own it all. And that's fine. If that is your method of working, then do that. But you have to create your own projects. You have to put yourself in that position that you are in charge, not take it from somebody else. Right? Like, well, that's not the way that it works.
That's so important because making movies is a team effort. It's
100%.
Incredibly impossible to make a movie by yourself. And for her to basically get Justin to be collaborative and give up the movie that he's built, and let's be fair, he built that movie. He found the book. He had the rights to it. He believed in it before anybody else. He put his money into it. He put everything into that project. And then he says, I want you, Blake. Blake's a little bit, and then he's even willing to give her that. And it's not enough. You don't even get to come to the premiere. You're not allowed in the premiere. Fine, but he goes in the basement when I show up. I mean, that's not authorship. That's not autonomy. That's control. That's selfishness. That's entitlement. This woman is a monster.
Blake Lively's relentless pursuit of Hollywood. Dominance took a sharp and unsettling twist when she was cast alongside the one actress she couldn't manipulate, Meryl Streep. What began with staged smiles and polite soundbites spiraled into one of the most intense, unspoken battles in recent cinema, creating waves of tension in elite industry circles. Their first public encounter at the 2017 Golden Globes suggested nothing but admiration. Blake was all charm and flattery, shared a staffer who organized the event. She kept calling Marielle her ultimate inspiration, acting. Paparazzi caught the cheerful interaction, and the media ran with the feel-good story. But flash forward 2 years, and things had changed dramatically. When both were cast in The Woman in Gold 2, a high-profile legal drama, the professional warmth began to cool fast. At first, the studio painted a rosy picture, a rising star learning from a veteran icon. Blake praised Meryl in interviews, calling her a creative mother figure and hinting at a powerful connection growing on set. But sources behind the scenes tell a different story. As filming progressed, cracks started to show. Everything shifted during a pivotal courtroom scene. Marielle delivered an emotional, career-defining monologue. I heard her tell the director Blake's acting was polished but lacked soul, revealed a crew member from makeup. It wasn't shade, just honest feedback. But that comment, insiders say, flipped a switch in Blake. What followed was a covert campaign crew members dubbed Operation Spotlight Shift, according to multiple insiders. Blake began pushing to revise scenes. She requested rewrites that subtly downplayed Marielle's role and added new lines for herself. She framed it as script tightening, said a script tech, but every edit favored her. The effort was quiet but calculated. When the film entered post-production, things escalated. An editor recalled Blake showing up to early cuts with annotated scripts. She flagged every emotional beat that belonged to Marielle and pushed for trims. The editor added, "I've cut hundreds of films. I've never seen a star try so hard to erase a veteran's performance." Then came the emails. A leaked message between Blake's team and the film's publicity staff revealed her true agenda. One directive sent just before the press tour began read, "No joint interviews with MSBL gets solo coverage priority. Schedule accordingly." The split became undeniable. When the studio hosted a closed-door dinner with the film's core talent, things finally erupted. One assistant in the room described the moment Mariel broke her silence. "Blake's good." At Precision, she allegedly said, "But there's a difference between being technically skilled and emotionally compelling. My concern isn't her craft, it's her obsession with winning every scene, even if it sabotages the story as a whole." The aftermath was swift. Panicked about the potential fallout, studio executives ordered a quiet reshuffle of the marketing. Rollout paired interviews were canceled. Promotional appearances were separated. Behind the scenes, one high-level exec was overheard telling a colleague, "If this leaks, it's a branding nightmare. Seal it off immediately."
Reed Morano, our director, and I was actually trying to get her to do another film of mine, and they told me that she was entirely unavailable, that it's not worth it. I called her agents and I said, "Please just take a meeting with me," and they said, "Okay, she can meet tonight at 10:30 p.m. And they knew I was 2 hours away from where it was. So they would just give me like an.
They did? But how would they know where you fucking live? Because you told them, "I'm 2 hours away." It's so telling, even just that comment. Like a little flippant comment, I can tell she must have bitched them. "Guys, I'm 2 hours away." How else would they know where she freaking lives, Kim?
An impossible sort of goal. And I was like, "Okay, I'll be there." And they said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll be there." So I met her at this like random restaurant outside of our
They must have been so annoyed. They're like, "Oh, I tried to get rid of this girl."
house at 10:30 at night one night, and I begged her to do my movie. And she was on she was meant to do another movie instead, and we instead spent the entire night talking about this script that she was obsessed with, called The Rhythm Section. She wasn't hired as the director. I had never even heard of it, and we both left the meeting wanting to make The Rhythm Section instead. But the problem was we weren't hired. Barbara Broccoli had no idea who either one of us were.
Barbara Broccoli, who ran James Bond up until Amazon just bought it.
And so then I became obsessed with finding this script, and I tracked it down. And she didn't tell me the name of the script. She didn't tell me it was called The Rhythm Section. She just described the story. She described the character. She said it was the producers of Bond, and I knew that that meant Barbara Broccoli, who I had just heard the best things about my entire career. Everybody said not only does she make such incredible movies, but she's such a great person, and she has such incredible taste, and she's just so kind and humble.
Okay.
The best of the best. So I'd always wanted to work.
That's basically what we have to do, because in order to get access, you have to say all those things about Barbara Broccoli.
with Barbara for that reason. So I read the script and loved it, obviously. And then I begged Barbara to meet me. And
Oh my God.
I called Reed and I was like, "Listen, I know you're
Listen.
doing another movie, and I'm supposed to be doing another movie. Let's be honest, neither one of us want to be in those relationships. So let's do this movie instead. If Barbara's willing to hire us both, would you want to go in together and say, like, look at this, you got both of us?"
So that's very telling. Do you know? Because I picked that up. She basically just snuck the movie from Reed, who's in there, and was like, "I'll get you the meeting with Barbara so you can maybe get it, but I'm going to be in it." Which I wonder if Reed even wanted her to be in it. Maybe they were just talking and having a fun dialogue, but now Blake has weaseled herself in to get that meeting through Barbara, which clearly all the work has been done by Reed.
And she was like, "Yes, I would love to make this movie with you." So she met Barbara that weekend. I met Barbara that weekend, and we just sort of like, begged her to hire us both as a she didn't have anybody attached to the movie, and now she would have two. Like, lucky her. And she fell for it, which is incredible.
Was that a tell there, Kim? She fell for it. She fell for it,
I
guys.
that's
feel
sort of
like-
how it came to be.
I want the curb music. Anyway, go ahead.
I kind of had this feeling after I watched this clip, similar to after we watched the Forbes interview, that it's just like, she says things, and it's like, I don't think she understands the way she sounds when she says them. I respect people who are ambitious. I respect people who go out and try to make their dreams come true and things like that. Like, I totally get it. But there's just something about this that just is off. It's off. And just starting with saying, like, I stalked her, and...
While Hollywood power players scrambled to downplay Meryl Streep's jaw-dropping comments, another silent takedown was underway, one that would derail the trajectory of a rising star's career with surgical precision. Or Justin Baldoni best. Known for his breakout role on Jane the Virgin, had every reason to believe 2023 would be the year that launched him into leading man status. As both an actor and director, he'd earned a solid reputation, and his adaptation of It Ends With Us was expected to cement his place in the industry. He was at the top of every studio's list, shared one casting insider. Talent, looks, work ethic, Justin had it all. A flood of offers had already begun. 3 films in pre-negotiation, plus a streaming series in development. Everything was aligning until Blake Lively entered the picture. The shift began within the first 2 weeks of production. According to multiple crew sources, Blake arrived on set with pages of script revisions in hand. Entire sections of Justin's dialogue were crossed out. She'd reworked scenes to give herself the last word. Those moments were originally written for Justin, said a script coordinator. But the changes didn't stop at dialogue. She altered the emotional arc, a production assistant claimed. Ryle went from layered and flawed to pure villain. It was like watching her systematically erase his depth. As Blake took creative control, the tension only grew. Filming of intimate scenes turned into a minefield. Blake abruptly voiced discomfort with the choreography and took it upon herself to rework direction. It was like she made herself the de facto intimacy coordinator. A crew camera op remembered. Takes would get stopped constantly, she'd say Justin wasn't syncing with her energy or was being too forceful. Then came the twist no one expected. After those same scenes, Blake reportedly began holding private talks with producers, raising red flags about Justin's behavior. She said he was making her uncomfortable, a hairstylist confirmed. It was wild. She set the tone, then flipped it against him. The consequences stretched beyond the set. Whispers about Justin's alleged on-set difficulties started to ripple across entertainment news. At 3 separate anonymous tips describing Justin as controlling, a blogger revealed. Same phrasing, same talking points. It felt planted. As speculation spread, Justin's press presence shrank. Appearances were quietly dropped. Interviews bumped to a hours or scrapped entirely. A passion project meant to showcase his talent became a PR silence. Then came the final blow. A high-ranking Netflix executive admitted Justin was deep into talks for a major limited series. Contracts were close to fine landfill suddenly. Creative differences derailed the deal. The project was handed to someone else without explanation. Even more roles evaporated. 3 high-profile films Justin had been in contention for slipped away. He didn't even get callback auditions, a source confirmed. It was like someone shut the door completely. For an industry built on optics, leverage, and bactional influence, Justin's abrupt fall wasn't random, it was engineered. And for those paying attention, the message couldn't have been clearer. Align with the wrong person in Hollywood, and even your brightest moment can disappear in an instant.
I think one of the best ones we've had yet, where Blake Lively completely exposes herself and just says it out loud with no qualms. This is what I do. The whole thing Justin's put out in his documents, she just admitted. And you even said it before we played this clip, Kim. You know, there's no way his lawyers had this, because wouldn't this be in the documents? This is exactly what they're accusing her of.
Yeah, this would be in the complaint. I truly believe that in my heart, because it's absolutely crazy as you listen to this. She really does just kind of line out what her method is, and there's just a lack of self-awareness here that is just, it's insane. It's actually insane to watch, and I'm very surprised that she felt comfortable enough to say all of this out loud. And I don't feel like it's taking things out of context. I don't feel like it's manipulating her to look a certain way. This is her talking. This is her interview where she is being honored. And I have questions. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah, like Forbes Power Women, and
Yeah.
she's so confident. Exactly, I think that's so telling how confident she is to just say, I have no qualms lying to the director, taking control of their movie, pulling the rug from them, like, oh my.
Justin Baldoni's recent career derailment wasn't just bad luck, it appears to be part of a much larger, quietly unfolding pattern that's been whispered about in Hollywood circles for years. Beyond the polished Instagram posts and show-stopping, Gowns lies an actress whose backstage behavior, according to multiple insiders, left a trail of stalled careers and conveniently minimized co-stars. The rumors have grown loud enough that a discreet group chat, shared among some of the industry's most influential women, lights up every time Blake Lively is attached to a new project. The unspoken warning: brace yourself. Emma Stone found this out firsthand during their 2011 collaboration. A script supervisor from the set recalled how Blake would casually float the idea that some of Emma's key scenes might land better as a stylized montage. When the final cut was delivered, Emma's role, once billed as a co-lead, had been noticeably trimmed to secondary status, and it wasn't the only time. Similar situations have quietly repeated on several productions involving Blake. 3 costume designers who've worked with her over the years share near identical stories. Blake would raise sudden concerns right before filming. She'd argue that another actress's wardrobe looked too similar, or claim a certain color clashed on camera. Then she'd step in with her own suggestions, ones that often left her co-stars dressed in unflattering or outdated styles. "It was always subtle," said one designer, "but it changed the whole visual dynamic of the scene." Even more insidious, say former collaborators, is the way Blake allegedly uses charm as a strategy. Several young actresses described an early wave of warmth, career mentorship, personal notes, exclusive invites. But that friendliness seemed to vanish the moment their star began to rise. Anna Kendrick's former assistant shared how Blake went above and beyond to connect with Anna until the industry started noticing Anna's vocal talent. Just 2 weeks later, Blake announced plans to launch her own music project. The timing raised eyebrows. Her influence, according to insiders, now reaches far beyond personal relationships. Some casting directors reportedly account for what's informally known as the Lively Rule. Senior executive at Universal admitted, "We avoid casting any woman within a decade of Blake's age who could outshine her on screen. It's not official, but everyone knows it. Challenging her presence, they say, often leads to mysterious production delays, recasting, or budget complications. Projects get shelved quietly, cleanly, without explanation. That climate of fear has sparked a silent resistance. A network of 12 well-known actresses, including Jennifer Lawrence, Margot Robbie, and Emma Stone, reportedly uses a private signal chat to track Blake's industry movements. If she signs on to a script, the others are instantly alerted," explained a talent agent whose clients are part of the group. "They'll walk away from dream roles just to avoid the aftermath. Crisis managers and PR reps have adapted accordingly." One specialist who's worked with multiple actresses during Blake-led productions described a protective checklist: detailed documentation, third-party witnesses in meetings, backup wardrobe plans, and pre-approved screen time agreements. "It's like prepping for a diplomatic summit," she explained. "You don't walk into a Blake Lively production unguarded." But perhaps the most revealing detail isn't what's said, it's what isn't. Of the 11 actresses who've worked with Blake in the past decade, 9 declined to comment altogether. The 2 who did reply offered neutral, highly measured responses with zero direct critique. In a town where image is everything, that silence speaks volumes, because Blake Lively's real power might not lie in her red carpet poise or Instagram captions. It may lie in her quiet mastery of behind the scenes control. And as more stories surface, Hollywood's most beloved Golden Girl is being seen in a very different light.